welcome to Scrapbook Superstore. We are going to be doing a project, a two-page layout with a Halloween theme. So today we're going to start. First I'll show you the project finished, and it is, as I said, a Halloween themed layout using Tim Holtz Alterations dies, Halloween paper by Authentique, and a variety of other products. So first thing we're going to start with is adhering paper to grunge board, and then we're going to cut the grunge board for the houses. I'm going to use multi-medium, which comes in the jar with its very own little brush, and you just brush on the multi-medium, and it dries quickly, and this saves you a step when you're cutting dies that you want to cover with paper. I use a Brayer to adhere because a Brayer will ensure that you have no bubbles underneath the paper. And just Brayer it for a sec or two, and you'll see I cut the paper larger than the grunge board so it would be covered. Then I insert the die, which is Tim Holtz's houses, and this particular one is called Artful Dwellings. And then I take my two sandwich boards, place the grunge board on top, cover it with the other piece of the sandwich, and I'm using the Tim Holtz Vagabond, which is his new electric die cut machine. Press the button, run the die through. What it will give you is your 4 houses all cut out for you and covered with paper. The next thing you have to do, of course, is trim off the excess. You can just use a scissors to trim it off, and you'll be all set. The other thing that I do with the houses in the layout is to embellish each of them with something. And you can either use, as we have used, a brad for a doorknob. You can use some gems. You can use the Tim Holtz Plaquettes, which look like house numbers, and they're just put in with brads. Or you can put on a button. I just have jars of things around, brads, buttons, and gems, and you can embellish them however you would like. The best thing to use to put holes in the grunge board is, of course, the crocodile. Very simple and easy to use. Goes through the paper and grunge board very easily, so you can put in a brad, a flower, a plaquette, whatever you would like to use. So your houses are all set, and the next thing that we're going to do is emboss for the second page. The mats I've double matted, and I've used black for behind, and in front I used the Tim Holtz Coordination Papers by Adirondack, and I'm going to embellish them in the same machine. And this time I'm going to switch out and use the larger tray, and again I need the sandwich plates, and put them between the sandwich plates. Just set your paper in once you've cut it, sandwich it, and again decide which way you want your machine to run. It can go to the right or to the left. Run it through, and you'll notice how quiet that motor is. And there's your embossed piece. And to make the color of the coordinations paper come up, I'm going to use the Tim Holtz sanding block, and you can sand as much or as little as you like. And since my idea was to make this look like tombstones, I'm also going to take the distress tool which has little blades, and distress this edge a little more. And I like to use just a firm mat and drag this along the edges. You can, if it rips, that's fine. It's supposed to look old, and distressed is just another word for weathered. So if it tears again, it's fine. You can make it look like however you like. And if you don't wish to do that, you don't need to. Now we have our matted tombstone, which is actually where you're going to put your photos in this 2-page layout. We're going to do a little more embellishment onto the second page. First, I cut out using the Tim Holtz Alterations die ticket strip. I cut that out, and then using black Versamark and Tim's ticket stamps, I stamped Happy Halloween onto several tickets. I then, using the distress tool again, distressed the edges just a little so it would look and coordinate with the distressed edges that we did in our last video. So as you can see, first we put down the background, and then the embossed pad, and then the Halloween ticket. And I started out by just adhering the back with my roller tape, and I sort of offset them, still leaving you room to put your journaling however you would like to. And again, using the roller tape, I set that off as well. But I thought it needed a little something extra. And so what I did was decide to color and use some staples using Tim Holtz Tiny Attacher. These are very small staples, and instead of just being silver, I decided to color them using alcohol ink. This is a very easy process to do. All you do is take your alcohol ink, put a little directly onto the staples, and it doesn't take very much. And I decided to make orange and black. Since I didn't have orange and black alcohol ink, I just used what I had, and then using your heat tool, you can briefly heat the staples. Remember that metal gets hot when it's heated, so be careful. And if they're not completely covered, just put them on your mat. Spread the color around. Very simple to do. And as soon as they are heated and dry, you can load them into the tiny attacher. Now I'm just randomly stapling, and I stapled in a crisscross, and you can put as many or as few on as you like. Now we're ready to finally put everything together on our page. I started off by taking an Adirondack paint dabber, and since I wanted to have a little ground, all I did was swipe it onto the page, again, enough, as much or as little as you like. And I took the same dabber paint, cut out 2 of the trees from the Alterations die, and colored them with the same paint. Adhered them to the page, and now I'm going to show you what I use to adhere everything. Here are a couple of the houses that we cut out earlier. I like to use the Scor-Tape. Scor-Tape is just wonderful. It comes in several different widths, from 1/8 of an inch all the way up to 1 inch. It adheres everything. You can cut it, or you can just tear it. It's a double-sided tape. Press it down, and using your nail, and I have none, so I just have to work at this a little bit, pulls off, the sticky part stays on, and it adheres to everything. So I use that to put on all the houses, the trees, the witch, the bat, the rosette, the little black cat, which is cut out of a cherry lin die called Screen Door, but there is a little kitty there. And lastly, I took this new ribbon, just came in, and as you can see, it's little bats. And I decided that we needed some little bats on page 2 of our layout. So I simply cut them, ripped off a little piece of Scor-Tape, which again I use for everything. Decide where you'd like to have little bats, and I just sort of sprinkled them around. Pull off the top, adhere the bat. The last piece is the rosette that's on the first page of the layout. The rosette comes out pre-scored. You just fold, tape 2 ends together, form your rosette, and you can adhere that also with the Scor-Tape, and our layout is done. So, happy Halloween. Come back again, visit us on YouTube, become our friend on Facebook. Most of all, drop in to Scrapbook Superstore. Bye-bye.